Welcome back to the daily close. And we have here, as usual, the Crypto-pleb. Nice beanie, my dude. Nice beanie.
Happy to be here.
And as always, BASXD Buddha. How we doing, boys?
Good man.
Loving the market, man. Loving the market these days. A lot of
Living
things
the dream.
moving.
Good. Market is looking really good. So yeah, some exciting projects to share with you guys. The market is looking good. We're going to pick 3 projects, as usual, 1 each, and share with you why we think it's amazing and the potential gains that you can actually get. So before we get into the video, please make sure to always do your own research and not take our advice as financial advice, because we are not financial advisors officially. And yeah, let's get on with it. So Crypto-pleb, let's start with you. You're going to do, what's the project that you're going to do?
So I'll be covering the graph. And so the graph, it started, a little bit background about it, started in 2018 by Edge and Node. And the mainnet launched in 2020, when they raised over 25 million in investment from big players in the space. The best way to think of the graph is like Google. It indexes data across different platforms. And what the graph does is that it pulls data across different blockchains. So it becomes a one-stop shop for all searches and data retrieval throughout the network. So this is a website for the graph here. And some of the easiest way to go about it. Exactly how it knows here, indexing and querying data from different blockchains. And now what they're looking to solve is that for many different people who run dApps, if they're running in a browser to get an answer, this can take hours or even days to run these applications. But by what it aims to do is to just make it much faster, more effective. And I think it does a very, very good job. It's working with some large projects in the space right now. So you can think of like Chainlink, which brings data into the blockchain. The graph brings data out of the blockchain into the real world for people to actually be able to operate and use. And you can also think of this as like a developer tool with good customer experience, smoother building of dApps on the blockchain. I think it's quite phenomenal. Now, for those of you who want to participate in the space, there are actually rewards for participating in the project, namely by those who operate the nodes. So we can go to the network overview here. And there's 4 different types you can work as. People who participate are active indexers, and curators and delegators provide services and earn income from the network proportional to the amount of work they perform and their GRT, which is a native token for the graph, their stake. Just to put it quickly, indexers are the node operators. They provide indexing and query processing services. Delegators, they are, they help deal out who will deal with an amount of stake GRT. Indexers, they could be dinged if they do malicious acts, they don't perform well. With delegators, they don't get like when I say dinged, like they don't get like a reduction in the income they can earn off their stake. With delegators, they just have a tax rate that I have to pay that helps incentivize better actions on the network. And then finally, curators, they're just kind of like signalers. They just let everyone know, where there needs to be work done, and then they can also communicate with the delegators and the indexers for that work to be processed through. That's in a sense how this how the graph operates internally for the node operators, and what it actually does as a project itself. A little bit more about the tokenomics with this platform is that, so yes, the graph, the native token GRT is an ERC20 token, and there's 10 billion in supply. They do have a 3% inflation rate and a 1% burn. So when you might hear this, you might think that the inflation at 2% normally is not very a bullish news you can really consider. But for anyone who actively trades in the market, you can see this as opportunities to maybe short or just time your buys to make a profit off this platform if you're looking to make quick pattern trades. But from a fundamentals perspective, what this project aims to solve is actually quite huge, and its adoption is actually something to be reckoned with. I mean, its community has over, so actually if I go through back here again, so they run on subgraphs. So these subgraphs is where they index the data, right? And there's over 2,300 subgraphs on the network or on the project. There's 3,000 developers, 200 indexers, and 400 curators. So they are very, very active. I think last in April, there's 20 billion queries on the graph's hosted services. So this is an explosive rise in dApps and Web3 adoption. And just for those of you who don't know, Web3 is a collection of JS libraries that lets you interact with the Ethereum node remotely or locally. And so in addition, actually you can find a lot of good news about this platform through this blog here as well. They are very active within, because they are RC20 token, they are very active in Ethereum, and they actually made some big grants to the execution layer for ETH1 and ETH2 as well. They are very serious about security as well, where they actually have large, what's it called, bug bounty programs going on for up to $2.5 million in a bug bounty program to incentivize developers and ethical hackers to recognize vulnerabilities and shortcomings in the protocol. So they have this top of mind. I mean, overall, this is a solid project. And if I take a look at their the current price action right now, it's actually performing quite well recently, shooting up in this actually today rather, and it's shot above the previous line of resistance. And so I think if this closes today, this is a very bullish sign for this for the graph. And so I mean, it's fundamentally it's an indispensable tool to the space. Competitively, there really isn't any other project that comes close. And I think it's just going to continue to be adopted and leveraged across multiple different dApps, in this environment. This is why I'm keeping my eye on this project right now. I think it's a good reason for you to look at it too. This is a good way to, this is going to revolutionize the space. It's going to make you money too if you time it well. But yeah, that's the graph. Now maybe over to you, knxqtr.
Yeah, no, graph definitely a very, very interesting project. I think what they're doing is, yeah, like you said, no one else is the kind of doing it in the space. The competitors that they have are almost non-existent. So I'm very bullish on the graph. If I'm to move over to my project very quickly, if I share my screen, if you can just enable that, that would be
oh yes, great. Let me get that up here. There you go. Gotcha.
Perfect. Okay, so hope you can see my screen. The project that I'm going to be covering is actually Fantom. So symbol for that is FTM. And there's been a lot of news about Fantom in the news. I think it's definitely a project that if you've not heard of before, you should definitely look into. It's considered a sort of like an L1 competitor, so an Ethereum competitor, but the developer who is behind FTM, behind Fantom, Andre Cronje, I think I'm pronouncing his name right, mentions that it's not really a competitor, but something that can be used in tandem with the Ethereum blockchain. So Fantom, basically you get instant transactions. A lot of new projects are being built on Fantom at the moment. L1's a massive topic right now in the crypto space. You've got things like AVAX, you've got things like Cosmos, you've got things like Matic, and now Fantom is another sort of L1 chain that is coming alive. So the first article that I want to share is that recently Atari, one of the biggest gaming companies, one of the oldest too, will start using Fantom, and this has seen a 72% increase for its actual token. And it's had a similar effect on Fantom as well. I'll go into the charts a little bit later. So you have people like Atari Chain integrating with Fantom. You have a lot of people, a lot of projects integrating with Fantom. So it's definitely a platform that people want to develop on. It's definitely a platform that people want to use. So I'm super bullish on Fantom, along with all the other L1s as well. I think, right now Ethereum has taken the spotlight, but, in recent times, competitors to Ethereum, AVEX, I mentioned FTM wasn't really a competitor, but other L1s are drawing in people who can't really afford to use the Ethereum blockchain. The gas costs are insane right now. So Fantom is another option for people who perhaps have a lower budget. It's a lot quicker. As I mentioned before, it's instantaneous transactions and very, very cheap too, fraction of a cent to actually transact on there. So I mentioned the developer, the guy behind this, Andre. He says, haven't been this excited about projects since I started thinking about launching YFI. And if you know, YFI is one of the biggest DeFi protocols in the space right now. And now, he's saying the same thing about Fantom. He's saying that he's just as exciting just as excited about Fantom than he has been on YFI. So just some stats for you. This is another tweet by Fantom Community Alerts. So this was posted actually today, September the 5th. 50 million transactions in total. 1 million transactions in a single day, which is absolutely insane. 1 billion in TVL crossed, which is crazy. They recently actually had a incentive program where Curve and also Aave, the two biggest protocols, DeFi protocols, launched an incentive program for 370 million, the biggest ever seen in history on Fantom. And so it's gaining a lot of adoption. People who have been actually yield farming on other layer ones like Polygon and Ethereum are moving their funds over to Fantom. For 41,355 new wallets. I don't know what sort of time frame that is, but there's still a lot of new users. As I mentioned, 370 million incentive program, which is absolutely unheard of. I think if you want to put it to scale, AVEX was only 200 million. So this is almost double AVEX. And they've got a Coinbase wallet integration as well. And Dev Conference announced for Fantom. So I'm sorry, I don't have the tab up here, but if I bring up the chart real quick, fundamentally, Fantom is probably one of the best projects that you can actually find. And also, if you look at the technical as well, let me bring up the Fantom chart. If you look at the technicals as well, it's approaching, again, new all-time highs. Yeah. Its all-time high was, this is on the 2 hour. Let's look at the daily chart. Here we go. So you can see it's broken its previous daily all-time high, which was at about 92 cents. And that's really propelled its price action up towards where we can see right now at $1.15. I think this is only going to continue to go up. I don't think $10 Fantom by the end of the year is out of the question. So that's roughly about a 10x from now. I think that's rather conservative. You can see the volume on here is also increasing, which you want to see with a pump like this, with a move up and a break of all-time highs. You want to see a change in the volume profile, which is clearly shown here. Maybe wait for a pullback. Again, none of this is financial advice. I do hold Fantom, full disclosure, but I think this project is definitely going places. So yeah, that's Fantom. Do some research on it if you're interested. I really think it can do well.
Absolutely. I've actually bought some Fantom as well too. It's a quality project, so I'm expecting big things out of this as well.
For sure. Sure.
All right. So I think over to you, BASXD Buddha.
All right. I'm just gonna share my screen real quick. Cool. So this week, what I'm going to talk about is Star Atlas, which has been the talk of the week with their token launch this past week. So I just said week 5 times, right? Same sentence. But no, they did their sort of a threefold approach with an initial exchange offering on FTX. That was on August 25th. And then they did their IDO on Apollo X and Radium. So just by hearing that, you know that this is actually launched on the Solana blockchain. And right now we're hovering around 23 cents. So I'm not going to cover too much of the price action because you know it's new and Star Atlas is actually in-game currency. So I'm going to just hop into the actual game itself. Well, I say game, but if for the audience who don't know, Star Atlas is basically a massive multiplayer space themed play to earn metaverse that's built on the Solana blockchain. Now, yeah, that was a handful. But the game takes place in a distant future of 2620. I really want to play this trailer, or actually recommend you guys check out the site because the graphics looks pretty insane. But in terms of the actual playing sort of environment and the actual storyline, there are 3 different races or factions, however you want to call it. You have humans, turn the back right here, and then you have aliens, and then you have robots that are all competing for resources and territories and essentially political domination. Now, this game has a lot of in-game features. So as a player, you can choose one of these 3 factions to join and then take part in the metaverse. And as a sort of you know, name of NFT gaming kind of connotes, you have in-game assets that are essentially NFTs, right? So all of these in-game assets, you will, as a player, be able to completely own them and sell and trade. It's basically the same thing that people do now with OpenSea, on OpenSea or Rarible, all these other platforms. And within the game itself, there are different tiers to it. These tiers are divided by skill level. And let me just see. So yeah, so if you check out these sort of NFT assets, the different tiers are divided by skill level and I want to say risk appetite, because basically there are non-combat zones. Now, if you're, say, you're human, you're trying to, basically dominate and combat with aliens. There are specific zones to this so that when you're in sort of a safe area where it's non-combat, then it's kind of just playing for fun ultimately. But when you decide to take a risk and you want to go more the high skilled combat zones and you actually attack and engage, you can permanently lose your assets. So, let's say you get one of these sick battleships and like this explosion back here, your ship explodes. Your ship, your gear, when you actually get destroyed, your NFT is gone. It's permanently destroyed. But the opposing team can pick up the scrap components of your spaceship and add to their NFT collection.
That's super cool.
Keeping it real.
It's right. It's like, I don't know how to explain it. It's just, it's unreal. It's pretty sick. And there are so many different roles you can play. You can be a miner, you can be one of these crew members, you can be a scientist, like these people back here. You can be bounty hunter. I mean, you name it. Like, yeah, it's all in there. Now, the main reason why I believe this game is gonna explode is because of the graphics and user experience. It'll be right now, it's so different from any other blockchain game out there. I mean, we've covered other stuff like Decentraland, we've covered Axie, but what makes this specifically different is the real-time graphics technology that they're using, which is Unreal Engine 5, which basically allows for like really cinematic quality video game visuals.
That's actually gameplay, right?
Gameplay, exactly.
I mean,
when I covered Rev the other day, like you're literally just on the webpage and you don't actually see cars race, but it's kind of like, if you can imagine like something like I don't know, World of Warcraft or something where you're in-game multiplayer. It's a very different experience.
That's wild.
I highly recommend you guys to check out the website, the game itself, and even this trailer. A few other news that I want to share with regard to this Star Atlas is their partnership with Aminoko Brands. Actually, if I click this real quick, you know, Aminoko Brands. We covered this in previous videos as well. They are the biggest blockchain NFT gaming company right now. And one thing I love about the crypto space that you cannot get in other types of you know, off-chain public companies is these types of partnerships and collaborations, right? So Aminoko Brands, they joined with Star Atlas and some kind of partnership to basically revolutionize this whole metaverse NFT gaming ecosystem. A few of the things that they work to do is build a user base of Star Atlas through cross-platform collaboration, empower more true digital ownership, right? That's not just going to be limited to the game itself. We know that the actual NFT gaming space is going to become more cross-chain. It's going to incorporate more different games so that you're able to trade NFTs from one game to another, right? So this is all part of the actual experience. Now, again, these types of partnerships are really profound because you're never going to see something like a partnership between Nike and Adidas, these highly competitive, you know, companies. But within crypto, these partnerships are actually what's going to make and, you know, going to make it or break it for them. So it's highly inclusive. It's absolutely wonderful. And the last thing I'm going to cover is the actual tokenomics. So Star Atlas, I have this page right now open on CoinGecko, but Atlas is the token that is used for the in-game currency. It's inflationary and has a burn mechanism that will basically burn out the growth. Well, sorry, the burn is used to balance out the growth of the in-game economy and the inflation component. So that means that essentially this will allow the Atlas price to go up and appreciate outside of the metaverse while, you know, this game adopts more users and expands. It has a circulating supply about 2.16 billion and a total supply of 36 billion. And I was looking at the vesting schedule. That's going to take roughly 8 years for it to be fully diluted, which got quite a bit of time right now, actually. And another game, I can actually pull this up, is called the Star Atlas DAO. The ticker for this is Polis. This isn't the game this isn't the token you want to buy. You want to buy the Atlas because that will appreciate. But Polis is the Star Atlas DAO token that's designed to be for them, they're calling it a store of value and a governance token. So after the game matures, this will be the driving force behind all changes to the game and even the team and founders. So I didn't mention this previously, but Star Atlas, another key component is its decentralized feature. So eventually it's going to be governed by this DAO community. And I mean, yeah, honestly, token just launched. And as far as I know, the mini game is actually supposed to come out first. So it's going to take a few years for this to really develop. But yeah, I mean, this is a great time to get in. And for all you gamers out there, I think you'll love it.
Well, we can see, we saw what happened with some other gaming tokens. They suddenly just explode, right? They do like a 3x in like a day or something insane like that. Yeah, I mean, NFTs in gaming, man. I mean, the sort of USPs that they have is quite cool. I think I've not seen that in any other gaming project so far. So I'm excited to give it a try.
Yeah, it looks sick.
Yeah,
I've been working with
living off of this too.
Working with cross-chain platforms and whatnot. I think just speaks volumes of the community of the cryptocurrency space. The fact that, like you said, you know, albeit like companies like Nike and Adidas don't work together, you know, big companies here in the crypto space work together at such high levels. I mean, I think that's why this NFT games are just big winners. They're just gonna get even larger and larger. So yeah, I'm bullish on this too.
For sure.
Definitely.
Okay, Great. Well, thanks, guys. 3 great projects there for you. You know, I think you will definitely find a lot of interesting information if you dig a little bit deeper and do your own research into these projects. As always, again, I just want to repeat, this is not financial advice. Please do your own research. Please ape in at your own responsibility.
Please ape in.
Yeah. But yeah, if you enjoyed the content, please give us a like, subscribe, hit that bell notification as well. So let us know that you're enjoying the content. Also leave a comment below. Let us know what you think about the projects, any projects that you want us to cover. And we're happy to engage in conversation as well. So drop a comment down there, much appreciated. But that's it for today. Thanks, guys. And may the pump be with you.
Thanks,
May the
Lax.
pump be with you.
May the pump be with you.
See you next week.